Bro, we got Langston here. Where we got music here? All right, that's awesome, Langston. I'm gonna. How do I upvote this? Give award. What is this? What is? I'm gonna upvote this one though. Okay, so now we're getting to class. So we gotta. This is serious time, guys. This is very serious cubing analysis here. Okay, solve 1. Okay, so actually I do remember what I wanted to comment on about this solve. So first let's take a look at the reconstruction. Oh, we're watching it at slow speed now. We gotta speed this up. Oh, bruh. Okay, I could have done this the whole time. Okay. Okay, so if we take a look at this solve, so I really like the cross you did here. I think it's a good start to the cross. You know, yellow cross. But I think here, so I think your execution is pretty solid here, but what I what I would have done here is as you're inserting this last green one, I would have inserted a U move to pair up this pair so that when you're done with cross you can insert that into the back, because that's the pair you end up doing anyways, and you could have saved a move by inserting that during the solve. So if we take a look here, take a look at the reconstruction. So you can see we have this pair here and this edge, and then what we want to do is insert an L, and we did an F2. So what we want to do is F prime U F. So if we take a look at that, or F prime U F prime, and if we insert that this way, right, we'll have this like this, right? So that's going to be a good first pair that we can insert right into the back right away. But instead, you did it this way, and you know, this is probably the best pair to do. So if we take a look here, and again, it would have been better to see that inspection, but I really liked your solution there. Yep, I like that. That was perfect. I think there's really nothing wrong with your second pair. So the thing is, you're already at 5 seconds after the first pair, and I think if you did it my way, you could be at like maybe 1 to 2 seconds, probably like 2 seconds after first pair. Let's test it out. Yeah, something. Wait, is this the scramble? Yeah, so actually I would have executed this like this, ready? So I would execute it from this angle actually, because what I want is to be able to, wait, is this the right scramble? This looks too easy. No, it's not the right scramble. Okay, never mind then. Anyways, my point on the previous thing stands. I think that was a good way to do it. I really liked your second pair solution. I think your second pair solution is perfect. inserting it into the, okay, this is good. And then inserting it into the front with the, I like inserting it with the F moves. And I would normally say that doing diagonal is not ideal, but I think for this solve, with the pairs that you get, it's a pretty good option. I really like how quickly you went into this third pair. That was high level. So right away, going into that third pair, that's perfect. Inserting into the back is great. And then here, the one thing you need to work on here is when you pair up this pair, you gotta see at this point, that you have no edges solved. And so then you want to pair it up, right? And as you go to insert it, see, when you don't have any edges here, what you can do is insert a sledgehammer. So what you could have done here is in this position, R prime, F, R, F prime, and then that would give you a much better OLL than the one you got. It's just generally a good idea. And there are some cases where you can even force across, but I don't think this is one of them. But I think the way you did it isn't bad. I'm just saying, like, you could force edges. But other than that, the first solve was really good. But again, yeah, that's like a pretty long OLL. So why was this solve not like 8 seconds? Let's think about this. Well, firstly, we want to look at the cross, right? The cross plus 1, I think, is by far the weakest part of the solve. The cross solution is good, but the first pair is not good. See, it took a full 2 seconds to do first pair. First pair should really be part of cross. I think second pair is great. Third pair is perfect. I don't see anything wrong with third pair. And again, fourth pair you should have inserted with the sledgehammer just to give yourself a much better OLL that you could have done a lot faster. And I think if you do all of that, you're probably down to like 11 seconds on this solve, at least, maybe 10 seconds. So that's a pretty quick improvement idea. Let's get into solve 2 here. So what's the idea with this solve? We're taking a look at doing green cross here, I think. I think that's what's going on here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's orange cross. Yeah, orange cross looks more sensible. Okay, so we can see yeah, okay, that makes sense. There's that pair. So I'll be interested to see how you executed this. Okay. Okay, so this, I'm not, yeah, I agree with 1 dot on that one. So in this case, the way you did it here, I mean, it's not ideal with this whole like B prime stuff, but you are getting the X cross here, I believe, right? Okay, so I already see a better way to finish this off. So I like the first few moves you did here, but I think probably a better way to finish it off at this point is to do, so let's insert a new like comment here. I think what you could do is a UW, R prime, U prime, and then insert this into the back. And I think the finger trick on this is quite important, so I'll show you. This cross solution seems like it's close to being good. So what are we looking at here? Right. So, wait, why is this? Okay. Right. So I like what you did here with doing the RUR prime instead of just inserting it, because you're preserving that white orange edge. And I think the way I would have done this is with a UW to insert this into the back, right? And then what I would do is I'd before doing an R prime here, I'd set up this next pair, which I could then do somewhere. This is starting to get a little bit crazy, but that would be a pretty good continuation what I just did there. So that's going to be a bit difficult. It's a high risk play, but sometimes you have to risk it. All right, so let's take a look here. You didn't do the UW. See, the problem I have with your solution is that, I mean, I said this in a lot of the other solve critiques, is that you're using like a really uncoordinated solution. So even in this position, what I would actually do is I'd rotate here, and then I'd do L prime, RUR prime, right? Because if you're doing these F and B moves, it's too many faces at once. But if instead you did this the other way, right? You can finger trick this all at once, much easier. Like R and L moves finger trick simultaneously much easier than B and L moves. And so that's why I would do it this way, or again, like the way I said it. I think this way is probably less risky. So this is probably the way to go, because you're just going to be set up with so much more opportunities for look ahead than the other one. But I think both are reasonable choices. But anyways, back to what you actually did. So we have the B prime, again, not ideal. If we take a look at okay, second pair here, that's good. I really like your second pair solution. I think normally I would say don't solve diagonal, but I think in this case you did the right thing, because this one is going to be really easy. The green and white is going to be easy to do, and then this green and yellow will be coming up shortly. And because of the way you're going ahead with this green and white, you're going to set yourself up for a much easier green and yellow case, which you can then just do. See, I would have rotated the other way here and done it with L moves. So I would have done the same thing you did, but I just would have done a Y, and then L, U, L prime, U2, L, U prime, L, right? So this is, I would have done the same thing here, right? Because then you're going to be set up much better to actually go ahead with last layer, and here you'd actually get a pretty good case. But anyways, I think the way you did it is fine, because you did end up solve. But see, I remember in the execution here you had trouble because you left your last pair in the back left, and so if in this previous case here, if you had rotated and solved this into the back, like this, that would have been much better. But the way you did it, yeah, actually I think that's a pretty big mistake. So because here, solving this from the front is really easy, right? What I would do here is U2 prime, and then RUR prime, and then this is going to be set up to solve really easily with edge control, getting across OL. But anyways, you were left with a really difficult situation, which caused you to pause because you can't really see anything in the back, which does make a lot of sense. Yeah, see, you're pausing here. And I actually think that was a pretty smart decision to like take your time there and regroup yourself, given that you already made the previous mistake. I think that was actually quite a smart play, just to take a pause here, think about it a little bit, because often people get caught up in you know don't they waste a lot of moves, right? Which ends up wasting more time than just that brief pause. So I think that it's fine, but you really need to be rotating the other way. And if we take a look holistically at this recognition here, right? So the recognition for the third pair was great, and this fourth pair is fine, I guess. Last layer here, yeah, last layer is also good. So yeah, just a few things there that need to be optimized. Let's take a look at solve 3 here. Okay. Okay, this is a really easy X cross that you almost did. So blue cross here, I agree, blue cross is a fantastic cross to do in this case. And I like the way you started off doing it with this this kind of solution. But it was actually in this position. If we take a look back here, so I do like the way you solved this part, right? But then here, if you're already inserting this one into the top, here you should really be doing, you should be really preserving this pair because it's already in place, right? So what you want to do here is something like RW U2 RW prime, right? Because this one is already in place, so you really need to justify all those moves you did. You really need to solve that right away. That's going to save you a ton of time because you did end up doing that one next. So if we take a look here, you did end up doing that one next, and you're at 5 seconds again after first pair. So I think you need to improve your first pair. That seems to be your biggest problem. Your cross solutions are okay, but you're really not seeing the first pair in inspection or fast enough to, during the solve. So if we take a look here, and again, choosing these executions with all these sorts of angles, that's really not what you want to do. Yeah, see, that was like a straight 2-second loss there, at least, from not just doing the RW U2 RW prime. So this would have been a pretty decent way to solve the cross, even though it is kind of like all over the place. But it's just that. I like the second pair. I think that's good. The third pair is great. Fourth pair is fantastic. You did those really quick. I really like, I mean, after your first pair, you seem to have really good instincts for what to do next. So yeah, this one is the right one to solve, right into the back there. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of subjective which one of these is right to do first, but I think the way you did it is perfect. You went really quick. Okay, that needs to be a faster J perm recognition, but that's not a huge problem. So I think that was a really good solve. Again, it's just the first pair is the main problem that you're having the most trouble with. But yeah, that was a good solve, and I think that was the best time. So let's move on to solve 4. Nerves on the first pair? Ah, I see. Okay, it does look like you missed a pair there. This solve is really flowing. A few lockups. Let's take a look. So the cross here, you're gonna have a few really easy first pairs here. So you can see this green-red is already ready to go, right? So what I would do here for the cross is L. Yeah, I mean, the way you did this, that's fine. You probably need to work on I mean, that's actually great. That's probably the best way to solve it. You just need to work on your finger tricks. And yeah, I think doing it with an F move is fine. Here, though, this next pair is really not good. You don't want to solve this orange and blue. You want to solve the red and blue. That's the next one. And I would have done it this way. So you want to set up this red and blue to be easy, or this blue and orange to be easier in a bit. So you need to do the red and blue in a way that brings out this blue and orange, which is exactly what you set up for here. But instead of going for this blue and orange, you should definitely go for this red and blue, like this, and then insert that into the front. And then here you can do a rotation, and now you're set up for a really easy continuation, right? So if we just do that rotation, R prime, U2, right? R2, U, R prime, and we're gonna also, that's gonna set us up for an immediate insertion of this pair. So that would have been a great way to finish off the entirety of F2L. But the way you did it wastes a lot of time on this really not ideal orange. And again, this is a diagonal pair, and this is a situation where solving the diagonal pair really hurts you a lot, because you already solved this green-red, and so next you want to solve either this one or this one. And I think solving the red-blue is definitely the most obvious. But here, yeah, this is really not good, because first of all, it took you a lot of moves to do that. That was like a 3-step insertion, right? So first you have to take it out, then you have to separate it, and then you have to insert it. 3 steps, not good. You don't ever want to do more than 2 steps, ideally only 1 step. And here, see, now you got like the worst possible case you could have gotten for 2 diagonals, like 2 really long cases. And so I think you did the right thing here, given this horrible case, to just go ahead and do the back one, because doing the back one is going to be pretty easy, and you'll be able to, just like you did it, insert into the front here and then do this one really quickly. So I think once you made that big mistake with the diagonal, you followed through really well. But again, it's a pretty, like, that's a great solution for the last 2, but again, it was set up by a really poor first pair and second pair. So that really set you up. Yeah, set you up for disaster there. And I think your last layer was also fine. Not Lucas Header last layer, but still great last layer. But yeah, this was a really good solve. If we just want to take a holistic look at this one more time here, this this execution for the first pair I think is great. But again, you really needed to do that second red-blue pair, and I think you would have been set up really nicely there for the rest of the solve. It does look like you could use a little bit faster turning, but you still have a lot of work to do on your efficiency, so probably not. I mean, of course, and faster turning, not all of us can do fast turning. We're not all Lucas Etter, but yeah. Anyways, I think that was a great solve. Just that second pair, I think, was the mad slow at turning. Well, you're not that slow, especially on last layer. You seem to be pretty fast. But anyways, not Lucas Etter, obviously. So we're taking a look at the third solve now, or fifth solve. We're on to the fifth solve, actually, last solve here. Okay, so this was, what was this time? This was a 14, so pretty normal solve. And again, I really like the banana and the avocado in the shot. I think that really makes it. Okay. Ooh, yeah, a lot of hesitation on this. So I can see that you're going for well-balanced diet. I like it. Yeah, that was good what you did there, but you paused, you hesitated a lot, and your cross should never really be taking this long. I think you need to do some practice with your cross. Just choosing solutions that are much faster to execute, because the solution that you did, it feels like very slow with a lot of yeah, I mean, this isn't a bad cross solution. This is a fine solution, and I really like how you preserved that first pair to be ready for it. But the problem is in just the execution here. And actually, I think a better way to do this X cross here would be here. So you have these coming in. In this position here, I would do, instead of the way you did it, I would do an F, D and U at the same time. You know that finger trick, or D and U prime, sorry. And then R2, U, R2 prime. Did I make a mistake here? Yeah, R2. U, R2 prime. So I think this, setting up for this finger trick would have been a better way to solve that first pair. So if we just take a look here, again, I'll show you. So yeah, I probably would have set up, because when you're solving this edge, you should be able to see that this corner is going to end up with this edge. So you're going to have a little block, and then you can track that this is where this edge is going to be. And so here, what I would do is U prime and D at the same time. So this would be kind of like, right? If we set up an example here. Right? Something like that. So I think this would have been a great way to do it. Just a little bit more move efficient, and also it would really enable you to look ahead pretty easily to the next pair. But the way you did it, I mean, it's objectively like a fine solution. The main problem is that it took you so long to execute it, and I think that's because you didn't plan the execution in inspection. You just planned the moves. And one of the steps you're going to have to take once you get to high level solving is going to be, okay, what is going on here? Why? Why is it just automatically playing? Okay. One of the steps you're going to have to take is when you're planning your cross is actually think about how you're going to execute it and choose crosses and that the execution is really what you need to think about during inspection, because then that's gonna change how you grip the cube, what like orientation you start the solve in, and all that kind of stuff. But again, preserving this is good, and I like inserting it into the back. And I actually like how you didn't solve this this cross piece here. I don't really think it's that important to solve it right away, because what you did here is really fast, just a nice fluid solution. But I think here, yeah, you don't plan execution. Yeah, so that's really obvious because your execution is clearly poorly planned during cross and first pair, and that seems to be like slowing you down quite a bit. But I really like this one. And before so here, after you did this triple sexy, I would have inserted in this position the red edge piece with a U2 L2 here. I think that's just the best way to do it. And you could have also, I mean, because you would have easily been set up for this F2L pair and all of this stuff. But the way you did it, I don't know. I don't like this slow. Like if you're not gonna solve a cross piece during cross, you really need to be hyper aware of exactly where it is. So like here, you should know that it's in the back here, and that means you should instantly know where it is. You shouldn't have to look back to see it. It should be in your track. You should be tracking it. And yeah, here I don't think I mean, you did a really fast execution of this third pair, but I don't think this third pair is the one you want to do. In this case here, or maybe, oh, it looks like I did the reconstruction incorrectly. So let's take a look at actually what you did here. See, I don't think doing this one. Okay, actually, no, you're right. This is the best way to do it because, but this is the best way to do it, especially if you saw how this one would end up, and if you know that doing this F2L pair is not going to affect this F2L pair right here is not going to affect the setup of this one. So I really like the way you solved this, and I would have rotated here to set up for a really fast. So here, this is like the same case, right? I would have set up instead of doing the F prime, I would have in this position rotated just to do a quick insert there. But you did that quick rotation, quick insert. Yeah, I mean, your execution on PLLs is clearly like pretty good. I mean, it's not amazing. It could be better, but I think execution during the planned stages, which are the cross and first pair, those really need to be thought out a little bit more, because clearly you're not thinking about them. So yeah, this was a really interesting average. Langston, it looks like with a few improvements, once you nail like planning the first pair and cross execution, more double flicks on PLL. Well, Max Park doesn't use double flicks, so and Max Park's the best cuber in the world, so I don't think double flicks are necessary. Just quick turns and consistent execution. But yeah, I think I think once you nail that down, you should be able to get down to like 11 or 10-second average with just the same look ahead that you have. What's the best way to attack finger trick planning? Well, I think the first step is just to think about it. But usually the way I plan a cross, so like here, I would define the cross pieces, and I mean, it does look like you're taking a long time to inspect, which is a great sign for your practice. But I think you need to take even more time. So like here, I would see that this cross piece is here, this cross piece, this one, and this one. And then I would think about the execution. I see this pair here. So I'd think about the execution, and then I just, and I guess here I wouldn't have seen that pair. I don't know. I don't have a good way to explain how to plan finger trick execution. It's kind of an intuitive process, but yeah, I think you just need to think about it. Try stuff out. Try finger tricks out, and think about fluidity. Any sort of situation where you're solving things on multiple faces better be like really well executed. Otherwise, it's not a good idea. But yeah, any more questions? I mean, sorry, Langston, I can't answer that like super helpfully because it's very much an intuitive process, and it requires a lot of. I mean, that's like I think most of the skill at the high levels for cross and first pair is in like planning execution. That's what the best people do most consistently. But yeah, any further comments? Whose execution do I like most out there today? I think Felix has amazing execution. Felix has really good execution. I mean, he's the king of execution, really. Especially on his world record solves. This dude has really fast, really good execution. And I think that's what really separates him. He does grip the cube kind of weird. But if we take a look at the execution here, you'll see that it's really quick. And sometimes it looks kind of sloppy, but it's actually really sophisticated, disguised as sloppy. And I think Max Park is not a very easy style to emulate, though. But yeah, if you want really good execution, Felix is the king. It looks not as smooth, yeah, but see, this is the thing. If you look at like Timon Koleshinsky, his solves look really smooth, but the problem is that he's losing out on like pure speed with his solves sometimes. Not all the time. I mean, obviously the guy is a mad genius, like really fast, but I think sometimes just like the way he executes things really elegantly can lose time compared to Felix. Like Felix has a really versatile grip, so like whenever he's gripping the cube, he can like quickly transition like and make last second micro adjustments all the time. And I think that's really what enables him to go like just that hair faster. But yeah, Max Park, of course, is an amazing solver, but I don't know. That's the thing. Yeah, Timon is beautiful to look at, but I think Felix is he's got a faster technique. Yeah, and Max Park's style, I mean, it's good, but I think it's really hard to emulate, and it's also going to be really not. Felix's style is definitely the one you want to aim for. I mean, I can't do Felix's style, so it's very difficult. But yeah, let's see. I don't think it's just that Felix... See, the reason Felix can be more efficient is he can be more efficient. We look at a 785 here. I'm really not choosing good examples. The reason Felix can be more efficient is because he grips the cube in a way that allows him to make these last second adjustments to maximize efficiency. And I think that's just something that all these other solvers can't do as well, especially me. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to end the VOD here to preserve this for Langston if he wants to take a look back, and all of you if you want to take a look back. But I'll be back with a chess stream in probably 5 to 10 minutes here. 5 minutes, I'd say. All right, see you later.